Guys, welcome back to another video. Hope you're all having a great day. And with no further ado, I'm going to get into my 2025-26 playoff predictions. Now the playoffs are here, which it's crazy. Feels like the season went by so far, but here we are. The playoffs start tomorrow and go through Monday for Super Wildcard Weekend. So let's get into it. Starting off with the first game, Rams at the Panthers, a rematch of I think it was week 13 when the Panthers pulled off that shocking upset. Um, and really, it was the start of the Rams' downfall because after that game, the team didn't look as dominant as they did earlier in the season. I think getting healthier, Devontae Adams will be back for this game. And Sean McVay, he knows how to win games in the playoffs. Obviously, won a Super Bowl plenty of years ago, but knows how to win these games. And a Rams team that is a Super Bowl contender gets the win. And well, I do think the Rams win. I do hope the Panthers at least keep this game competitive. Like I don't want it to be a blowout. I want Carolina to at least make it competitive, to at least give them some optimism heading into the off season. Maybe it could spark them for next year to be a team that goes from like a middling, all right team to being a contender. Moving on to the second game of Saturday, Bears Packers, third matchup. Both matchups in the regular season. The home team won. Rome Odunze will be back for Chicago, which I think will be a huge help for this Bears offense. And I'm going Chicago. I've seen a lot of people pick the Bears. Um, yeah, I've seen a lot of people pick the Packers. I mean, to win this game, and I just don't understand it. Like Green Bay's lost four straight. Jordan Love hasn't played, and I'm pretty sure it's been like 3 or 4 weeks. He's like not played the full game. And the last time he did play, he got banged up against the Bears in Chicago. And this Green Bay defense has not been the greatest. I don't like Jordan Love, not really like hasn't played fully in a while. I feel like there will be some rust there. And I mean some um there's some question marks about Matt LaFleur, whether he needs a win to keep his job or not. But I think the Bears get their first playoff win since I think 2013, I want to say. I'm not exactly 100% sure, but it's been a while. And I think this Bears team, a lot of people are underrating them because the defense hasn't been the greatest, but I feel like against a team they know well in the Packers, I feel like they can play well against them and get the win. Moving on to the Sunday slate, starting with Eagles Niners, a battle of two teams that very much hate each other. Obviously, the last time these two played in the playoffs, it was the 2022 NFC Championship game where Brock Purdy got injured and Josh Johnson had to come in and he got a concussion. So then Purdy had to go out there, but he couldn't throw the ball, and Philly was easily able to win. This time, I feel like the Niners can get the win. I'm trusting the better coaching staff with Kyle Shanahan, Robert Saleh, and that Niners coaching staff. And Philly's offense has not been great. I don't know what the notion is that people are acting like Philly's offense is going to turn into some great unit when, for the most part, they have not been very good um, this season. Like they've had some good games, but it's been against bad defenses or just bad teams. They haven't really played any good team well. And I feel like a Niners offense that, yes, will struggle against a really good Philly defense. I feel like Philly's offense will continue to struggle, and I feel like the Niners can capitalize and get the win. Moving on to the AFC side, starting with Jags Bills, a rematch of that 2017 playoff game where Jacksonville made a run to the AFC Championship game. Could we see another one this year? I think the Jags do get this win. I think a lot of people are just trusting the Bills just because it's Josh Allen. This team has so much playoff success. They have the better um player, like better quarterback. But I feel like Jacksonville has been underrated all throughout the season, and I feel like this defense can make Josh Allen basically be Superman. Like they have a very good rush defense, so I think they can be able to not shut down James Cook, but make him a non-factor. And these weapons outside of the tight ends are not very good outside of like Khalil Shakir. And I feel like Jacksonville can expose this Bills defense with how well their offense is playing, and I think they get the win. And then Sunday night, Chargers, Pats, LA team that is banged up. Though they did rest starters last week, so they do have some guys on the healthier side taking on a Patriots team that I think only has 2 wins against playoff teams. I think they beat the Bills and Panthers. I think those are the only two playoff teams they played. Um, but I'm gonna trust New England to get the win at home against a Chargers team that is banged up. And I know if New England wins this, there's still gonna be the narrative that Justin Herbert can't win a playoff game, even though he's literally dragged this Chargers team to the playoffs. Like if he wasn't their quarterback, LA would be far, far from the playoffs. So you gotta give credit to him and Jim Harbaugh on this team for being resilient despite how bad their injuries have been. And then finally, Monday Night Football, Steelers at Texans. I've seen a lot of people think that since Mike Tomlin's never lost on Monday Night Football and that he hasn't won a playoff game in nearly a decade, that the NFL would want to give Tomlin a playoff win. But I just don't think that happens. I just think one, Houston's defense is going to make Aaron Rodgers' life miserable. I know DK Metcalf is back, but Houston's secondary is probably the best in the league with Stingley, Lassiter, Bullock, Petrie. Like, it's just probably the best secondary in the league, and that front seven will get after Rodgers and make his life hell. And unless Houston's offense plays the worst game they've had all season, like unless this offense reverts to like early season Houston, which I don't think will happen, I think the Texans get the win and move on and giving Tomlin another loss in the playoffs. And I mean, there's a couple coaches, not just Matt LaFleur, McDermott, Tomlin, who could be on the move if they do not win this weekend. Moving on to the divisional round, we'll start in the NFC. Niners, Seahawks, third matchup for another division. But I'm just trusting Seattle. I think the Niners, I think whoever wins this Niners Eagles game is going to lose in the divisional round. I just don't have any faith in either team to really do much. And I feel like whether they're playing Seattle, the Rams, the Bears, I just feel like neither of those teams will really do that much. For San Fran, it's just because they've been banged up, and I just don't know how long they can continue to play like how well as well as they have been with all these injuries. And for Philly, I just don't trust this offense to play as well as they should. And I think that would be a huge, huge detractor. Moving on, Rams at the Bears. Could Chicago make it to the NFC Championship game for the first time since I think 2010? I want to say, or something around that, maybe 2011. Um, when they lost to the Packers and BJ Raji had that pick six. I think this will be a good game if it does happen, but I'm going to trust the Rams, the more experienced team. Um, I think the Bears could maybe win 2 playoff games, make it to the NFC Championship game, make that run, but the more experienced team in the Rams, I feel like get it done, and they set up a rematch with the Seahawks for the Super Bowl. We're going to the AFC Texans and the Broncos, two teams with amazing defenses and not so great offenses. Um, I think it comes down to coaching staff, big factor, and which offense can be able to make huge strides. And I'm going with the Texans offense. Going with Houston. I feel like I feel like Denver could easily make a run to the Super Bowl with how talented that defense is, with how clutch this team is. But I feel like, kind of like the Chiefs last year, your luck's eventually going to run out. And a Denver team that has just continued to have these comebacks and play well later in games, I feel like it's eventually going to get back to them. And the last time these two played, yes, it was in Houston in the Dome. This will be a mile high. The elevation there will be tougher for Houston not playing there. But the last time these two played, CJ Stroud got injured, and the Texans still had the lead for most of this game. I feel like if the Texans, which offense has been better since that loss, because they've won 9 consecutive, and the offense has been pretty damn good since that loss to Denver. I feel like if this game is close play, I feel like Houston can just do just enough and make their first AFC Championship game in team history. Moving on, Jags, Patriots, a rematch of that 2017 AFC title game. Both teams with fun, young, exciting teams that you would root for. So it's kind of like which team would you root for more? But I'm gonna go with the Jags. One, they're more experienced. Even though Mike Vrabel is the coach, and the Pats have Diggs and Milton Williams and these veterans who have played in playoff games, Jacksonville has the experience. Like Trevor Lawrence has won a playoff game. He almost beat Mahomes in that divisional round game, but Casey slipped by. Um, but the um they have the experience with the players more so. And I feel like New England, with how easy the schedule was, I feel like it's gonna come back to bite them. I feel like whoever they play, if they do beat the Chargers in the wild card round, I feel like whoever they play in the divisional round is going to make this team, you know, make it a lot more difficult for New England to get the win, because I feel like the Jags, like we said with the Bills, have a very good defense and would be able to stifle New England's um plays. And I feel like Jacksonville can expose that New England defense that, while has been good, it's not a great defense. And I feel like the Jags offense, which has been amazing this year, I feel like could make it hard for New England to come back. And then finally, the championship games to set up who makes the Super Bowl. Rams, Seattle, third time this year. Seattle won their game in that crazy Thursday night game. The Rams won their home game. In a game, Sam Darnold threw 4 interceptions, yet still almost won that game. And I'm going with the Hawks. I do think that, LA's more experienced roster and coaching staff would make it an even matchup, but I just feel like Seattle is clicking at the right time, and I feel like with how great this defense is, I feel like as long as the offense doesn't make mistakes and they play mistake-free football like they did against the Niners, I feel like Seattle can get the win and make their first Super Bowl since 2014, or I guess it was 2015, but it was the 2014 season. For the AFC, Texans, Jags, another third matchup. These two teams both won their home matchups, although Houston had that crazy comeback with Davis Mills at quarterback. This one in Jacksonville, two teams with elite defenses, but I just trust the better offense in Jacksonville. I think, we saw a Jaguars team, when they played Houston last, um, which sparked Houston's rise to that 9-game winning streak, but it also sparked Jacksonville to win 8 straight of their own to finish on top. And I just feel like Jacksonville is the better offense. And I feel like both teams, Houston has a better defense, but I think with how talented Jacksonville's defense has been, they'll be able to shut down this Houston offense and make their lives miserable. And then Seattle, Jacksonville, a Super Bowl, maybe not that many people would want because they probably want the Stars, they want the Rams, they want maybe the Patriots, like they probably want the Bills. But I think this is the Super Bowl matchup. I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks to win it all. I just think the second best defense, I think Houston is the best defense, but the best defense in the NFC. And I think Sam Darnold will raise to the occasion. I think this offense will play amazingly throughout the playoffs. And I think the Hawks get the win and win the Super Bowl, proving that, they didn't need Geno, like, moving on from Geno Smith. They made the right decisions this offseason, and it is capitalized with the Hawks winning the Super Bowl. But that'll do it for today's video. Hope you guys comment, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And I'll catch you guys next week as I'll recap Wildcard Weekend, along with some other videos. And until then, hope you guys have a great day, and bye.